Whoa! What's going on? You ain't looking so hot today, even though the sun is burning the place up. What's the long face about? Ooh, it's a good job you dropped by for this on cupán day. This is only one little on cupán day to go, it's but man, after seeing your face, we could be here for a while. What's going on? You look like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. Well, now let me go and just let you in on something here. Psalm 71 verse 14 is a beautiful little verse, and this is what it goes and says. But as for me, I will always have hope. But as for me, I will always have hope. The hymn, I will sing the wondrous story of the Christ who died for me, how he left the realms of glory for the cross on Calvary. Yes, I'll sing the wondrous story of the Christ who died for me. Sing it with his saints in glory, gathered by the crystal sea. But the third verse goes and says this. Faint was I, and fears possessed me. Bruised was I from many a fall. Hope was gone, and shame distressed me. But his love has pardoned all. And so the chorus, yes, I'll sing the wondrous story of the Christ who died for me. Sing it with the saints in glory, gathered by the crystal sea. When we look at Psalm 71, the psalmist fears that in old age God may forsake him, fears in his old age that God may forget him. As he is growing older and looking into his future, and he sees all the troubles that he has around about him. And yet, there in verse 14 of that psalm, he goes and says, I will always have hope. Let me ask you a question. Do you have hope right now? When we look at this psalm, it's split up into three sections, and I would encourage you to dig it out and have a read of it. It's three sections. There's a petition to God, and then there's a reason for that petition. Then there's a second petition, and then there's a reason given again, and then there's a third petition, which is really small, and then there's a larger reason, but then it changes from reason to the result of what he is going to do, the impact of what is taking place in his life. But what I love about this is it goes and it focuses in on who God has been for him. And in verse 5, I love this as well. Just listen. In verse 5, for you have been my hope, O sovereign Lord, my confidence since my youth. I love that. That resonates with me. Resonates with me because Christ has been my confidence since my youth. Do you know, when you look back over your life, whether Jesus may be only someone who has really entered your life of late, and there are many years where you look back and you can go and say, well, I wasn't walking with the Lord. But when you look back, you can still have confidence that God was there giving you hope. Because who is the one who's preserved your life? Who is the one who's kept you? Who is the one who's been there for you? And that's what the psalmist goes and says, in you, O Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. And why is he saying that? He's saying that because if he is put to shame, then the fact he has taken refuge in God makes God look stupid. Makes it look stupid that he put his confidence in God. Of course, that's not the case. But what is the whole function of this at the end that the psalmist goes and says? Right? He goes and he talks about the fact, as I said in verse 5, that God has been his hope and his confidence since youth. He says in verse 14, but as for me, I will always have hope. I will praise you more and more. This psalm goes and says, I will sing, I will praise, I will proclaim, I will declare, all in the back of what the Lord has done for him. But I love this. In his last little lament, his last little petition prayer, which is just verse 18, he goes and says this: "Even when I am old and grey, do not forsake me, O God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your might to all who are to come." Tell me this: are you someone who is so fired up about God and what God has done in your life that you have a story to tell of the hope that you've had in him, that hope that has never been let down? I will always hope in the Lord. I will always hope in you. I will always have hope. I love that. You see, the Bible goes and says, Paul goes and says in Timothy, that there will be a generation who will practice a form of godliness and yet deny its power. I have seen the power of God to transform lives, and it is an exciting story to tell. Do you know the power of God and how that has transformed your life or the lives of those around you? If you do, tell your story. Proclaim it like this guy is. Your righteousness reaches to the skies, O God. You have done great things. Who, O God, is like you? Though you have made me see troubles, many and bitter. Interesting. Doesn't mean that life's going to be a bed of roses. Right? You will restore my life again. From the depths of the earth, you will again bring me up. You will increase my honor and comfort me once again. I will praise you with the harp for your faithfulness, O God. I will sing praise to you with the lyre. O Holy One of Israel, my lips will shout for joy when I sing praise to you. I whom you have redeemed, my tongue will tell of your righteous acts all day long. Are you someone who's talking about what God has done for you all day long? For those who wanted to harm me have been put to shame and confused. Woo! Turn that smile back up the right way. Stop up for a minute and think about what God has done for you this day. And see if you can echo the words of the Psalmist in Psalm 71 and verse 14. But as for me, I will always have hope. I will praise you more and more. My prayer is that is your testimony and story. Now go tell it. Thanks for having this cupán tea from me. And pick yourself up by the socks and give glory to God for what he has done.